PolishLynx here, and let's continue Narcissu. Great story so far, but probably the ending will be painful for us. We will see. Even if I wasn't being warned by the large scar on my chest, even if this reality were Narcissus and I were Echo, I would never yearn, never curse. Even when I was supposed to have decided that, my heart right now swayed. The time that was supposed to have stopped tried to move. Even though, if it did so now, very soon it would end. Once. The deeper they are, it seems that they require a proportionate amount of time to heal. If so, if one had taken a long time slowly letting go, it is too late to recover. Then, what would become of me, someone who had lived 22 years? Hey, are you alright? She's not. Before down, stretching my hand out to the passenger seat, I strolled her back. Since then, another 2 days had passed, and the medicine that had been losing effectiveness had run out. But it was better than doing nothing. Thinking that, I reached for the car keys, planning on going to a pharmacy. Then, as I was about to switch on the ignition, it's fine, I was stopped by a weak voice. But at this rate, you are. Either way, they don't work anymore. That's maybe so, but certainly it was like a girl said, most likely, with the same medicine there wouldn't be an effect. But even with that, it was painful for me to sit still, unable to do anything. Then, well, let's go somewhere else. Somewhere else? Yeah, somewhere other than this lonely place. Okay, let's decide on our next destination. Come on, anything will do. Being a navigator again. I was speaking in a bright tone of voice that even I thought was laughable. Facing that profile looking far away, I continued to speak cheerfully, alone. I knew that doing this was useless. At most, how 2 days before the end would turn into 3, even I knew it was on that level. Come on, say something. There is some place, isn't there? Not particularly. I know, don't you like cars? You want to go on the expressway again? Not particularly. Then, well, let's go buy some new clothes. You own them, don't you? Not particularly. Not particularly, you. With those final words, once again the girl looked out the window. Not looking at Narcissus that spread before her, but like before, looking off somewhere far away. That pouting, embarrassed face she would sometimes show. She wouldn't show it to me anymore. Why are you like that? Always. Always, with just not particularly. Just being a little bit forward facing. What's wrong with that? Before I knew it, I raised my voice. For some reason, I was sad. Even though I was supposed to be unable to have any real sense reality, my heart ached. The interior of the car turned to silence. Outside of the window were the flowers of January, daffodils, narcissus. In the dark, before dawn, their witness gently swayed. Farther than the flowers, much farther, the girl continued gazing. Only the faint sounds of waves held sway in this place. Looking forward, how could I? Inside the dark car, suddenly she spoke up. To yearn, to be eager, to strive. If someday you would be rewarded, then fine. But when it doesn't come true, what should I do? At that time, to say, oh, it wasn't possible, and laugh. I'm not that strong. The girl who had eyes that always looked far away was looking straight at me from the passenger seat. What I could do was give up from the start, to not wish for anything. To say, of course, it was impossible. To look at myself with cold eyes, there was nothing else I could do. Here are. For the first time, the girl cried. Even though she almost never showed an emotion. Her small shoulders shook and her tears flowed. At the time, if I had tried harder, what if? What was to me my final excuses? I could do nothing other than put them aside. Because I knew from the start that it was impossible. Isn't that much? A lot. I look at the dark sky beyond the windshield. Hug her for the sky before the dawn even showed the face of the moon. I could only hear the occasional sound of waves, the girl's sobbing voice. The girl might feel that she was the same as echo, unable to return anything but the same words. From herself she could say nothing, hope for nothing, see nothing. Could do nothing but give up. So for this girl, refusing both the 7th floor and home was perhaps her first and last act of defiance. Shiraishi Construction. Chapter 8. I thought it would be end, but no. The clear sea of January, cold wind that pierced the skin. Occasionally a strong gust would sway the pine grove and the sound of waves calmly reverberated. Well, there's nothing colder than this. I handed over the towel with Shiraishi Construction pre-netted it. It was what we had used to wipe our bodies down with before. Hey, don't make such a strange face. Alright. Seeming slightly unsatisfied, the girl took the towel. Suddenly, saying she wanted a swimsuit, what could I do? In this season and this place, on top of that, she said she wanted a bikini. Doing what I could, what came out of the car when I searched was that white towel that had been in the pile of laundry. And then, waiting for a while, in that skirt she liked, with the towel from just before wrapped around her chest, the girl appeared. How is it? Well, even if you ask me that, it's not strange. Well, probably. It's perfectly fine. Totally not strange at all. Alright. Then the girl slowly began walking out to the water's edge. Waves gathered and retreated. Long hair fluttered in the cold sea breeze. From the sky, as if delivering the finished blow, snow lightly fell. Within all that, the girl held both her shoes in both hands. Happily, as if she were splashing around, walking barefoot at the edge of the water. Say, does it look like it? Maybe so. In the cold of midwinter, our breaths widely misted. Then I took out the camera that I had taken from the car earlier. That cheap-looking disposable camera had only one more shoot on it. Here, I'll take pictures of you. I'm sure it'd be more like it that way. As I spoke, I made a show of preparing the camera. Come now, don't so reserved, okay? The water's edge, the girl seen through the viewfinder. Maybe she was a bit nervous, or perhaps embarrassed. Her face was more complicated than usual. So, could you give me a better pose? No buts. Look, there's no magazine model that would stand like a steak. Even while still seeming a bit embarrassed in her own way, she tried her best. Shyly putting her hand on her waist, she threw her free hand out wide. That hand, it stretched out towards the clear winter sky, as if it were about to grasp something. Were trying to grab something. Stretched right toward the sky with emerald green sea to her back. Well then, one last thing. Smile. Smile for me, said Sumi. What's with that? You're the younger one. Saying that, for the first time she smiled for me. The girl wearing the skirt she liked with a white bikini. Smiled for the last shot on the disposable camera. Smiled with the emerald green sea to her back. It was as if a magazine model were smiling at me. Great, then next, how about a pose with a bit more movement? Happily, like she were having fun, she splashed through the water. The film had already been used up in the camera, but I still continued to take shots. Oh, you're getting caught up in this, aren't you? No such thing. Cheerfully we talked, and as if making another attack, the snow fell even harder. And at that, through the viewfinder of the camera that had already run out of film, the girl showed a happy face. Even as her small body was thrown about by the wind, she directed her newly recalled smile towards me. Tell them. It's already that time. If the towns were like before, the girl started working towards the sea. That's right, the license. That's fine, take it as a memento. Alright. While nodding, she put it in her pocket. It was the license that I had once handed to her. Really, it was something that should have already lost its debut. Then the girl took off that white linen bracelet wrapped around her wrist and offered it to me. Are you giving this to me? I am. I see. Then I'll take this as a memento myself. In the same way, I accepted the bracelet and placed it in my pocket. Then once again the girl began walking towards the sea. Facing her back, I threw out my final words. Hey, can I ask you just one last question? Do you, right now, want me to pull you back? Or instead, you want me to give your back a push? While the waves splashed at her feet, the girl stopped in place. Her back remained facing me after I asked the question. A strong wind turned the crest of the waves into spray that struck her. Before long, she turned around and... Which one, I wonder? I don't really know. Saying that just one more time, she smiled for me. While being struck by the spray from the waves, even as tears welled up, she faced me with a smile. Before those feet had stopped at the water's edge, but this time they didn't stop. That was why I thought that was her answer.
それじゃあ
Well then, farewell.
さよなら
And so our journey of 960 kilometers ended. To me it was 15 days time, to her it was the end of a 22-year-old journey. Not the 7th floor nor home, of her own will she avoided them. In the year 2005 she was one of the estimated 35,000 people who committed suicide. But type 0, name Satsumi, 22 years old female, final identification bracelet white. This was everything about the girl. But I knew. In reality she liked bikini swimsuit, knew more about the roads, the navigation system and loved cars. She even had a license. She was always without expression and would only rarely face you. Once in a while she would even make this embarrassed outing face. Her emerald sea to her brow. As if dancing happily like a magazine model, she smiled. And yet, on this cheap disposable camera, only a single picture remained of her smile. But even so, even with just one picture, it was the proof of ourselves that we left behind. Okay, this is the end. Probably of Narcissu first. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will probably see you in the second one. Bye.